Yeah, we're gonna go through some ChatGPT 2 stuff going on here. Only so much of the news background that ChatGPT made for me. Yes, critical. So the food stamp crisis. So yeah, we're in trouble, everybody. Looks like a lot of stuff's happening that nobody's really talking about. So SNAP benefits. Oh yeah, looks like I probably won't even be able to access the internet. Shutdown. Let's do shutdown, shall we? Yeah, we'll see where that takes us today in the newsroom. 2 hours ago, this comes from The Guardian. Nothing like robbing from the poor to feed the rich. When you run out of options, what do? You rob from the poor, um, and you give to the rich. That's what you do. So, again, this comes from The Guardian at a no censorship here. Blah, 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 blah. Well, looks like that's not going to be read. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. So at least 25 states plan to cut off food aid benefits in November. Democrats under fire as food stamp funds run dry. 42 million Americans caught up in the middle of this. The issues that's going on with this is beyond most of our understanding. The reason why is because there's a fight going on over certain issues, and I may have misspoken on my last news broadcast about the fact that it could be to do with illegals voting. Apparently, it isn't about that. Apparently, it's about or illegals receiving benefits. I'm not sure if that's the truth or not yet. So, CEO blah blah Cho explained to Fox News Digital that some states will feel the drying up of government funding more than others. Yes, funding comes from the federal government, but the administration of it happens throughout local states, he said. And so when it comes to SNAP, states are on the little on a little bit of a differing shut up. Anyway, the longer it goes, the less funding also becomes available for the Woman, Infant, and Children WIC nutritional program, which another 7 million vulnerable Americans will suffer from. Amazing, isn't it? So it could pose a political headache for the Democrats who have resisted agreeing to Republicans' federal funding plan for over a month, demanding significant concessions on health care in exchange for their support. Let's see what they're talking about. So we are approaching inflection point. The state Democrats continue to hold out for health care for illegals or reopen the government so mothers and babies and most vulnerable among us can receive timely WIC and SNAP allotments. So it's health care for illegal immigrants, which the majority of us don't have good health care anyways. Um, Health care should be reserved for citizens that come here legally. If you come here legally, that's what it should be for. So Democrats are holding out, apparently per Fox News, for illegal aliens to get their their free health care. Understood. I get it. But the problem I have is we should all come to agreement that people that are here illegally that came through our borders that are not willing to go through the system should be ejected immediately and should not receive free health care because I don't receive free health care. The majority of us are suffering without free health care in America. And if you don't understand that, apparently you don't understand what it's like to live in America and be an American. So that's the deal. So it looks like Democrats are not willing to sign on. They want to make sure that illegal immigrants have free health care. Go tell any American that can't get health care or pays or has very little to no health care that illegal immigrants deserve health care and see where you end up. Because in this country, if you make anything that would be considered enough to live, you're going to have to apply for Obamacare, and Obamacare doesn't cover most of anything when it comes to hundreds of thousands of dollars for just a basic surgery. This place is out of control. The healthcare system's out of control. We all know this. We've been living through this. So on to other news. So we got to talk a little bit about Venezuela. So Venezuela is now in the crosshairs of the Trump administration. It looks like the War Department is possibly setting the stage for a Venezuelan invasion. Now this goes back to the Barack Hussein Obama administration with blocking the Venezuelans from actually making their economy viable. There's been a war going on between Venezuela and the West, the investors, for a very long time. Isn't it magical that a lot of the immigrants came through the border during the Biden administration when the border was open? It was actually we were ingesting Venezuelan immigrants, maybe millions, no telling how many millions of fighting age men came across our border. This could be considered in some instances as a soft elimination of maybe a quarter of a million to a million immigrants that would have been fighting age men in the event of an invasion of Venezuela. Those men would have chose to stay in their home country. They would have probably taken up arms and fought the U.S. military if that is the intention of the Trump administration. What my idea in this whole situation, from my observation, is this type of behavior, this type of plan has been involved since back during the Barack Hussein administration. They were after getting Venezuela and its oil and its gold. Remember, the global investors want what they want, and it's sometimes it comes down to where a virus doesn't get enough money out of the Federal Reserve on the backs of the American taxpayers, which was the largest theft in human history, I believe, happened during the COVID outbreak. But I do believe that Venezuela holds enough resources that they want it. What a shit podcast. We'll go, Melina, what are you? I don't know what you are. You're a monster. Go blank yourself. Get out of here. So anyway, that's probably a shill working for the government, licking the boots of the administrations that have taken place over the years, and probably loves the government. Got many, many, many jabs. Anyway, we should, no, not jobs there, Melina. It's jabs for you. Anyway, so if Venezuela holds the gold and oil in South America, that would give you an idea that there's possibility something's been in the works to get Venezuelan resources. This is a typical activity of a failing empire. We've seen this with Rome. Rome was out invading other countries and taking their resources. Meanwhile, the people of Rome were suffering immensely under mass immigration and political unrest. That's what's happening here inside the United States. The rich are running out of reasons and ways to screw the population over. That's my analogy of this. Venezuela's always been the crosshairs of every administration that's ever graced America since Barack Hussein Obama and possibly back to the George Bush era. So let's go ahead and so for you in Venezuela, be careful. The rich global investors want you. They want your gold, they want your resources, and they evacuated a large portion of your fighting age men into the U.S. That's a good idea before you soften them up before you get there. White House sets the record straight on new ballroom name and designation. It's a ballroom, everybody. Balls to the wall. I'm telling you. Nearly 24 states back Trump's citizenship plan as a battle heads to high court. Well, a citizen's a citizen. That's what it is. You're not a foreign citizen. You're a citizen in America. You get the stuff that goes along with it. Yeah, the big corporations are all into the Lockheed Martin. The different Raytheons are already invested in these wars. Wars make money, everybody. I'm sorry. That's the political will, and that's the will of the great investors. That's what they do. They steal whatever they can from whatever resources from anybody they can. If you still think Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, please eject yourself from the real world, because they were never there. Along with Osama bin Laden was in a cave in Pakistan. Now he was inside of a compound living the life of luxury. He wasn't in a cave, everybody. Wow, wonder what happened there. Just saying. So if you still believe in the Assad must go away, because that's just stupidity on steroids, we all know that was just to take over Syria. That's what they got. Iran's next. Ukraine's killed off their children. And the war with Russia is to weaken BRICS. That's the facts, people. And it's tough if you can't understand them in my shitty little broadcast that the lady, whatever that person was, said. Anyway, Clinton mocked for White House ownership claim after taking thousands in fundraising. Or in furnishings. Yeah, we gotta get that Russian into English there, bro. Glad you're here, but get the Russian into English, bro. You gotta use the translator thing. We don't, even if it's Ukrainian or anything else, we don't, I don't even speak English, let alone anything else, but thanks for showing up. Trump insider footing $130 million bill to pay U.S. troops as shutdown settlement deepens. Well, realistically, there's nothing we can do about that. It is what it is. Planet killer asteroid discovered racing through the solar system at near record speed. We brought this up yesterday on yesterday's newscast. we actually talked about the fact that there is a planet killer asteroid that's been hidden behind the sun. Behind the sun, yeah. Scientists, look how fast, Flower. As soon as I bring up anything to do with COVID or anything, they immediately were down to 3 viewers. Immediately. Just saying. Scientists spot skyscraper-sized asteroid racing through our solar system. Discovery led by blah blah blah. Astronomers have reportedly discovered a skyscraper-sized asteroid moving through our solar system at near record-breaking pace. The asteroid, named 2025 whatever, circles the sun once every 128 days, making it the second fastest known asteroid orbiting the solar system. It was first observed by Carnegie Science astronomer Scott S. Shepard, September 27th, according to the statement from the Carnegie Science. The asteroid is the second known object with an orbit inside Venus. The statement said it crossed Mercury's orbit during its 128-day trip around the sun. Most of the solar system asteroids inhabit one or two belts of space rocks, but it says perturbations. I don't know what that is. Sends objects careening into closer orbits where they can be more challenging to spot, Shepard said. So now it's behind the sun. It will be invisible to telescopes for several months. The so-called Twilight asteroid helps identify objects that could pose a risk. Work, which is partially funded by NASA, used the dark energy camera on the National Science Foundation's Blanco 4-meter telescope to look for planet killer asteroids that could be dangerous. So, the fast known asteroid was discovered. They're not saying if it's a threat to Earth, everybody. Not saying it's a threat to Earth. So there you go. They're not telling you it's a threat to Earth. They're just saying, hey, we discovered a planet killer circling the sun. Nothing to see here, folks. A planet killer. Asteroid. Faster than any other asteroid, pretty much, they've ever seen. Moving along. What's next on the agenda? 3i Atlas. Yeah, it's doing some crazy stuff. There you go. Don't worry about that Black Swan event. No, let's see what we got here. The next one. Wow, it's blank. It's totally blank. On to other news. Skipping through this. I see nothing great. Nothing really cool. Yep. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, well, that's the news, folks, you know. I'm going to kind of look and see. But the economy, just so you all know what's happening, is the global investors are going after certain individuals, certain countries, land masses, to keep the shit show going. This is what happens. A dying empire is losing its footing in the global standing. And how long can they keep this up before the entire shift show comes crashing down? Well, you know, if they take over Venezuela, get its riches, I think they could stand a little bit longer. Canada's fallen. It's only a matter of time before Canada goes there. It says, yeah, I see 7. It says 3. Yeah, it's down to 3 again. We lost. We went up to 26. And then as soon as I mentioned COVID, it went berserk. Just saying. Everybody kind of bailed out of here. So it is what it is. You know, we're not going to have as many views, Flower. You can't pay attention to the numbers. It's usually wrong. Yeah, it says, 143 views last newscast. Not quite what we used to be in any way, shape, or form. We went from, 14 to 10,000 down to 143 views, which is okay. Because up to 50% of all the traffic on here are trolls. They're just setting in a troll farm. They're backing their own comments. Twitter's much, much worse than YouTube, but YouTube has a massive amount of trolls that are not even individuals. They're just programmed by a bunch of idiots inside of a troll farm. They have comments that they generate constantly, sarcastic, narcissistic comments, and they're paid by their masters, which is the devil. Just saying. Anyway, as strikes on alleged drug boats grow, so do questions about their legality. Where is law and order in this day and age? It doesn't exist. Let's just remember that, folks. In the future, as we lose the greatest generation and their children, which was the boomer generations falling. I just another friend of mine that was a baby boomer just passed away, including my cousin, which is not a boomer, but we're losing people at an alarming rate due to health issues. It's and cancer just kicking everybody's butt. As strikes on alleged drug, both blah blah blah. Yep. So let's go to Google News, shall we? See what's going on with Google News. Trump likely to name White House ballroom after himself. At least two historic. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Don't care. What's in Reagan? I don't care about that. Kearney ready to resume U.S.-Canada trade talks halted by the Trump over Reagan, and I don't. So, Mark Carney, the carnage of Carney. You had the true that was a doe last time. Now you got the carnage of Carney. Looks like Karen's here. Good to see you, Karen. Pentagon orders aircraft carrier to Latin America as Trump signals escalation. Give us your oil, give us your gold, or else we're going to invade. Maybe Maduro has weapons of mass destruction. No, he just got gold and oil, and they want it, so bad, it just tickles the top of their mouth thinking that they're going to have Venezuela's gold and all their resources because they emptied the damn place out to bring them into coming to America today. Their fighting men left, a lot of them, so it's a lot easier to take over a country when they had mass migration out of there. And a lot of Venezuelans will go back and fight back in Venezuela. You see that it's really a win-win for the Biden administration, and including the Department of War. They get the Venezuelans here, they put them into military uniforms, they go take over Maduro, they blame Maduro for what's happened in Venezuela, even though it was the sanctions and all the blockading that went on because they were a communist country, and we all know this, if you guys all paid attention. Can't have that. Can't have that. So, astronomers suspects mysterious object is up to no good while it's hidden behind the sun. If you want to take a vacation, take it before blah. Let's go to that. This comes from futurism.com space. Astronomers suspect mysterious object is up to no good. It is most energy efficient for spacecraft engines to burn its fuel when it's orbited, or its orbital velocity is greater. Interstellar Object 3I Atlas is expected to reach its perihelion, or the closest point to the sun, and it's October 29th it's going to be there. So it reaches its solar conjunction, meaning it's on the exact opposite side of the sun relative to the Earth. And while scientists have gathered significant evidence that the unusual visitor from another star system is a comet largely made up of carbon dioxide and ice, Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, he's in the news. He's in the news all the time. We don't know enough about this right now. It's going to take some time. Trump ends trade talks with Canada over tariffs. Add that Ontario Prime Minister now says he'll phase out. So he did an ad with about Trump, and it pissed off Trump, so Trump tariffed him. Don't piss off Trump. Ukraine's future is our future. Europe's coalition of the willing. Coalition of the willing. Is this like a party night? It's like, are you willing? Are you the coalition of the willing over there? Bet you're willing. Nothing to worry about, people. Just keep focusing on that their stuff that you're focused on. Because if it's anything that would make a difference, what will we do? Social Security increases in line with inflation, but trails key expenses. Social Security recipients should receive double what they receive today, because I suggest we take all of our clown world representatives and make them live off Social Security payments for the average American, cut all their wealth and seize all their funds, and see how they like it. Yeah, it's a good idea. It ought to be a requirement that you have to live off the current Social Security wage or disability wage, and then you set the policies. Yeah, then once they live there, Flower, they're sitting there broke going, how do they survive? You look at them and you say, you don't. Do you see how that works? It's called liability to the corporations. That's what Social Security and disability is. You are a liability. If you're not sick and in the hospital, getting Medicare sucked out of you like a frickin' a Sunday or a Slurpee at 7-Eleven by Beavis and Butthead, then you're not worth anything to them. You're not worth anything. And if they can't live off it, then why would they impose it? That's how you fix all this. You make them live off the policies in which they enact. Same with H-1B visas and all the immigrants that come take American jobs and drive down the wages. They should have to live with the average pay of a trucker with the H-1B visas and the competition from foreign workers. And give them, that's it. That's all you get. That's all you guys get. Yeah. Go work now 50 hours, 60 hours a week, their representatives, and find out some guy from Bangladesh driving by in a semi that got here for free, and he gets all the amenities of it. You just look at him and say, I'm glad you're here. Because that's why the trucking industry is shacked, because of cheap foreign labor. And they're all in on it. They're all in on it all. Some of them should have to go work in the trucking. Some of them should have to go work construction and understand what it's like to compete with foreign workers. I got to close that window. Sorry, the kids destroyed all my screens and all that over the years. And they're kids, and that's what they did. My daughters went ape crazy and destroyed my house. Literally destroyed my house. They ripped out the wall. And this was 2 bedrooms. They crashed it down, just ripped it out. Yeah, then the minimum wage. The rest of them should, the lobbyists, by law, if you lobby, you should have to live off minimum wage for a year without any access to anything else. And then they should have to work a job, like the demand 50 hours a week at minimum wage, and then that way the lobbyist goes to the Congress, the Senate, the House, and says, hey, this I'm a lobbyist and I had to spend a year on minimum wage with no help. I spent most of my time at a food bank. And working is all I had. And then they could sit back and say, well, minimum wage should be the living wage, which is $22.50 in Utah, by the way. And that's just the living wage. Minimum wage is $9 an hour. Well, no, it's not 1920, idiot. Stop it. All this is insane. But all representatives should be forced into one of said policies that they enact. And then we'll see movement in Congress. That's a movement in the Senate. The House will change immediately when Nancy Pelosi's told she could only live off a maximum of $10,000, $20,000 a year working at Burger King. Oh, they make $22 an hour. Okay, well, go do it then. Because that job should be $40. Well, it'll destroy the investors. See, the investors want their profits. It's what they set up every day to do, maximize profits. When you maximize profits, somebody's got to lose. And unfortunately, it's a customer and it's a worker. They're not giving up their profits. Well, it's their profits too. No, this is extortion. We own the food, we own the water, we own the land, we own your apartments, we own your houses, we own your insurance companies. You pay us homage. We own it all. BlackRock and Black whatever, they own they're buying up all the insurance companies. Why? Because they want to extort everything from us. And if we don't stop it and make regulations with our Senate, our House, and our Congress, we are never going to change this. This is how you make change. You change the rules where they suffer in the trenches with us, the majority. Once they have to live like the majority, they learn. It's like, poof, well, wait a minute. Because America can't vote its own people in. We vote in career politicians, partisans. They've been boosted by the two economic viable political systems known as the Democrats and Republicans. They're all in it together. They're all wearing nice little suits. Their little hands are soft and they have no calluses or dirt under their nails because they don't work. They walk into them, humdy, 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 humdy. Yes, I'm for. Yes, I'm against. No, I'm for. Are you against? No, he's for it. No, he's against it. Everybody say aye that's for this bill. Aye, not. Well, shut up, Billy. That's what they do. That's their jobs. Set there. I'd much rather drag a man and a woman out of a horrible, hard job, pull the roofer off the top of the roof, say, hey, you need to get in there and vote. What am I voting on? Illegal immigration that drives down the job market for the rich using slave foreign labor that come in to build for them for cheap. What do you think he's gonna say? What do you think that man's gonna say? What do you think the man that walks in there or the woman that's working their guts out trying to do 2 jobs and calling a side hustle, which is a hustler, which is supposed to be bad, a good deal. No, they're going to walk in there and say, change this place up, dude. Bring it down. No more. No more bills, no more lies, no more foreign money. See, they take foreign money and they give it away. Why do they give it away to other countries? Everybody's like, how come we're giving away all this money to Zelensky and to Brazil and Venezuela, wherever we're giving it to? Why? The reason why is because they steal it from us. They take a cut. Then they push it out as foreign aid. That way, the value of the dollar stays where it's continually dropping, but they don't have a cataclysmic fall. See what your representatives do? They produce bills to suck the money out of the Federal Reserve, which is not an American, it's not ours, it's owned by the banksters. They get the money, then we're liable for it. We owe the debt, the taxpayer owes the debt. Then that money goes overseas or to wars, missiles, bombs, foreign aid, and then they go down there and take the top off it for themselves. That's how they keep getting rich. Nobody gets it. They make the bills, they pump the money out, just like free energy. They lie about free energy or cheap energy as solar farms and wind farms. It's going to employ a bunch of people. No, it's not. It's just like this defense contractor is being built in Cedar City, Utah now. Aerospace defense contractor, 26 people getting a job, and we're excited. Why? Because somebody got a cut. So then they get a cut by their investments. They're all invested in it. Well, I'm investing in this company, and we're going to bring it here, and my profits are going to go up because 26 people are going to have a job. And a Russian nuke's going to be targeting us. Smart plan, their government. So the government needs to be filled with working class people, not Cortez either. We need to have the real workers. I'll apply for Congress, the Senate, the House, and I'll stand up there every day and go, hey, you remember that where Bean's driving down the road doing this? That's what I say to y'all. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene too. I'd say, no, I've worked my guts out and I have nothing to show for it. Why? Because you took it. No, we didn't. Yes, you did. How do we do that? By representing the lobbyists, not us. No, I'd be like, yeah, that's what you did, you liars. That's what you always do. You succubus little partisans, you liars, you little ticks. The only reason why you're here is because you couldn't make it as a pickpocket. That's saying a lot. You're no good at stealing from people's pockets, so you got in government. Welcome to the Shift Show, everybody. Anyway, blackouts hit Russia's Belgorod and as Ukraine drone attacks surge. Mr. Putin, don't bomb me. Bum, 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 bum. Don't even watch what's happening in Ukraine. It's not even worth it. Not even worth it. So that's Google News. You know, that's how stupid this is. This is this 20 hours ago update. Salt Lake Magazine. Salt Lake Tribune. I don't even care. Fox News breaking update. CNN. Oh, breaking. CNN. Let's do this. Let's do this, CNN. Let's roll. The CNN. Agree to the terms. I agree, but I've read the agreement terms used, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, Venezuela. Buckle up, Maduro. Buckle up, bro. So, food stamps benefits to lapse for 42 million people next month. Well, maybe stop making videos of very large people doing nothing but eating junk food on TikTok and YouTube. That would possibly help your cause. Just saying. When you buy, junk and fill up your shopping carts with hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in food while the rest of us get nothing, kicked in the face, working 60 hours a week and pay hyperinflation and taxation, then I think the rest of us turn on you. It's a commonality. Show the poverty and the fear instead of very large consumers consuming and laughing at those of us that work for a living. Just say it. But that's propaganda at its finest. That's what they promote, is that. Trump considering plans to target cocaine facilities inside Venezuela. Blow up cocaine facilities, blow up fentanyl ships, blow up drug cartels. But don't take over Venezuela. Venezuela needs to become free. Don't take over anybody. Work with Venezuela. Buy oil, buy gold. You already got them by the balls, Mr. Trump. That's what I'm saying. Colombia, too. Bomb the cartels. I mean, cluster bomb their asses. Get rid of them. But let's make sure that Brazil and Colombia and everybody else, we got coffee and we got a world that cares about each other. I mean, it's a simple thing. Everybody enters economic viability. We all trade. We all work together. It's a commonality. There needs to be no more of this migration shit, anyways. I'm telling you, people would rather be their home country if they can make a living. But the global investors make it hard on everybody in those countries where they want them to come from to leave so they can get that land. That's what it's all land deals, like the American Indian Wars. It's all about land. The Reagan ad that got Trump to end Canada talks. I'm not going to get into that. Pentagon to use 130 million donation for anonymous. I don't care. This is CNN. For subscribers, she let ChatGPT decide where she should live, and it sent her to a small town in France. I'm having a great time with ChatGPT, just so you all know, building another sci-fi movie. You're going to love it. It's going to be a trilogy about an entirely new Earth that's being created as the Earthlings now in this timeline destroy this place, which they do in the end, and God burns it. They move to a new heaven and a new Earth, and it's going to be a great trilogy. I'm in the middle of writing this thing up with ChatGPT as a helper. It's going to come with visual pictures and all kinds of cool stuff. It's going to be a Battlestar Galactica type reboot if Peacock will take it. So let's show you a few of these things, what this looks like, what the Battlestar Galactica did. Okay, so that did its own Battlestar Galactica. Wouldn't you like to have different timelines in a Battlestar Galactica scenario? That's what's going to happen. You all learn your Cylons anyways. You're all biological computers. That's what you are and how you upload. So it's going to be a huge trilogy. There'll be a new type of Galactica on it. There'll be a new heaven and a new Earth. You like this one? This will be a Pangea type continent where Africa, Europe, and Russia is before it split. And the difference in this new Earth, the new world, there is not going to be a devil like there is here. He did not lose the war in heaven, and that's what Christ is talking about. He gets destroyed on this planet. Loads of fun. It'll be a sci-fi show. This is the iceless Earth that I'm creating inside ChatGPT. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let me show you some of this. The Cylons. So I've had a problem trying to keep the Cylons steady in their character. They'll be called cyborgs if they don't allow us to do the Battlestar Galactica reboot. But like I said, this is the one Cylon that we're doing. This is to meet, if I can hold Sayla and 6. If I hold 6, the reboot type 6, this will be the 6th character. If I can keep it there, it'll be basically like Battlestar Galactica 6. And then you'll end up with the other character. We probably don't got to show you that. But let's show you what they just did. I just showed you the new Earth, the new all that stuff. I tried to fight with it, and I ended up with this. These are not the characters. This is not the 6 I just showed you. I'm fighting with ChatGPT to get the characters on the new Earth. This is the new settlement. This is the new colony. Basically 144,000 that leave planet Earth for the new Earth. That isn't 6, and this isn't Sayla either. The 2 Cylons that start this place and build it. This is the new, I had to do a graph of where we've already started on the new heaven and new Earth, and that is a very horrible rendition of the mountains that I set up. But it does have the beach, has a beautiful, beautiful beaches on it, and I'm not too sure if this is it, but you can see, of course, the grid's being built as I map out the new heaven and new Earth. It's going to be loads of fun. Loads and loads of fun. The backside of the Earth will look like this, but let's do the Galactica. I'd rather have the Galactica. The type of Galactica ship. Anyway, cares about economy. Why can't legalize and tax the drugs, all the drugs class A? And well, the reason why they can't legalize the drugs is because fentanyl is too dangerous. Now, if they did it with heroin's the same way. Your doctors are basically pill pushers. My cousin just died a few days ago, and she was buried. I think Wednesday. She was buried Wednesday. Due to overdose of her prescription pills. She vomited out her pills and then thought didn't get them because she was in a lot of severe pain from a car accident when she was in college. She had her legs busted, ran over by a car, hit by a car. So she was experiencing health effects due to that. And she just overdosed by taking the double amount of pills because she thought she threw up the others. She took them again and it killed her just like that. And that's because of the doctors are pushing massive, battlefield World War II. I'm dying. Here's your pen of, they use that one painkiller. What's it called? Morphine. So they give you morphine, and then if you accidentally take two of them, you're dead. And so the doctors are drug pushers. You're already paying drugs homage to the medical industry for the drug pushing, anyways, and a huge portion of the population is already on antidepressants. So making drugs legal would make us into a world that wouldn't be good. We need to work more on getting the money from the rich back into the economy, shutting down the Federal Reserve, lifting up the poor, lifting up the middle class, getting us stop giving the rich everything, stop allowing them to take everything 2008 2.0. We've allowed them to invest in everything now. They've taken our houses, they've taken our food, they've taken our insurances, they've taken our economy itself is now just for the ultra rich global investors, and they're laughing at us because we continue to suffer as their profits continue to increase. So drugs are not the answer. The drug is the kingdom, and if we all love each other and we have a world where everybody you can't do that. Yes, you can. No, you can't have it. Yes, you could. The capitalism isn't working. It never has, and it's the rich against the poor. 50% of the population owns 2% of all the wealth. That's a problem. That's revolution. Statistics. That means that 1 out of every 2 Americans own 2% of the wealth of this country. It's over, folks. I mean, no matter what they do, what Venezuela war they start, what Syrian war Syria they destroy and loot, whatever they do next is not going to work. None of this is going to work. I mean, it isn't late stage capitalism. This is crony narcissism at its finest. It starts with the banksters and your representatives. That's who the problem is. It's the investment groups of bankers that's done all this. They own everything, and there's no way drugs are just going to numb the entire problem, and it's never going to fix itself. And if this world continues any longer, which I don't think it will, my personal opinion, we're at the end of this timeline. Without a broken world, the next world we're going to is not going to be busted like this one. Everybody, trust me, way better, way better. It started with the devil, and it just kind of snowballed from there. It's been corrupted from the day Satan lost his war in heaven. This new earth, the new heaven, will be much, much, much more enjoyable for all of us. I'll just tell you that. So we need to be working on the kingdom here. We need to be caring about each other, lifting each other up. Nobody should go without. Poverty shouldn't exist. They could have solved poverty if they weren't giving out all the money they've given out, the fake money that we're responsible for through the Federal Reserve. That's the whole point. And there's never going to be any end to this until we say no more, until we're done, until we're just done with them, until the entire world doesn't say, no, King's Day. No, King's Day. Are you in your Barney outfit? Yeah, okay. Well, I need you weirdos out there too, jacked up on GAC. You guys go over there. Start blowing horns and running around. We need a bunch of other paid protesters, professionals in there. Instead of protesting Wall Street and the theft of us, we're just busy protesting King's Day. It's never going to work. Drugs ain't going to work, bro. Alcohol's not going to work. They all have the same ending. It's never going to work. What we need to do is bring the kingdom here. We need to live as if it's a kingdom for each other. This world's got to stop. We all got to stop. Everybody's got to stop. The world's just got to come to a screeching stop and say, no more. No more banks. We're done. We'll show you the rich. It's our money. Then we just change the money and go, you ain't got nothing, bro. There's 8.5 billion of us. Literally, there's 8.5. You want a democracy? There's your democracy globally. Seriously. Global democracy. What do? We all just say, you guys, we're sick of the rich owning everything, and we die as slaves here. Why are we fighting over healthcare? Healthcare is a right. It's a right. A place to live, it's a right. Food, it's a right. Water, it's a right. Oh, you're not. It's a democracy. You tell Christ that, I dare you. You tell him. And if you're a Hindu or Buddhist, you tell your God that too. If you're a Muslim, tell your God, it's a right for me to take everything from everybody. Them all. I own the food. I own the water. I own the land. They rent from me. I'm the Lord of the land. And then go to war with everybody around you just to make it so. Anybody who believes in God doesn't believe in the system. And you can't have the system and God. Who do you serve? It's a no-brainer, idiots. Oh, I'm a God-fearing person. Apparently there's no fear in you then. Because that's not how somebody that fears God acts. You capitalist, cronyist bastards. Am I striking a core yet? There's 8.5 to 9.5 billion of us. Us. There ain't nobody else here but us. The rich are sipping on lattes, drinking their margaritas on the beach, living on yachts, mountain retreats where they don't work. They have those that work for them. Their money works for them. They don't do anything. This is my house. Yeah, and somebody else takes care of it because you can't. They're the most inept of all of us. And somehow we worship them. And we think that's going to work. Insanity. The definition is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. The insane world, I dub thee. So get on the good foot, world. Let's start the movement where we all just say no. No. Fair wages, fair labor, fair this, fair that. No, the system's broke. You want to just give us a few more. Here we're in the Coliseum, they're throwing bread at us. Why the good people, the Christians, are being eaten by lions. Meanwhile, your houses are burning down. Even the rich man, you think you're rich, you're not in the upper 10%, dude, you're gone. It's only time. They're sucking the wealth from the world. They're not going to stop. You're not going to get richer. And I'll guarantee you one thing, nobody loves a rich man. And you can't buy love. It's time for the rich to lift the poor. It's time for the rich to step in and say, I'm not going to hell. I'm going to take care of the poor. I only need so much. My needs. But my wants have driven me to this place. So now I'm going to lift up others. Now you can lift up this channel by giving me a nice donation so I can actually get audio on a new 2010, maybe I can do 2015 computer. So I can spread the word of God. And the news, of course. But any of you capitalists out there that are enjoying this, one day you'll walk in my moccasins. One day I'll walk in yours. And I'll look at what you did here and say, I guess you didn't fear God enough now, did you? Why? Well, God isn't capitalist. Never existed. It's about love. It's about the love you have here while you're here. It's about those that love you. It's about the excitement of love. It's about the joy and the excitement of exploration, not demolition and destruction. We can build this world into the most beautiful place, a kingdom that Christ himself promises. But no, not even after a pandemic can we do such a thing. They came out of their basements, the rich men came out of the basements of their mansions, lusting, thirsting for the flesh of the world. And now they're feasting on it. They're feasting on it. They gave you Biden because he's an idiot. They did what they wanted. Now they're going after the flesh of everywhere else, the other countries. There ain't enough blood to satisfy them, everybody. And if you're sitting there catching the leavings from the rich man's table, remember there's one king. And that king would be on the floor with you. That king would be sitting next to you, comforting you. That king would love you as he loves himself. Now that is a king that we will all serve. They don't get tired of their death flower because they are addicted, just like gold. They're addicted to the Yellowstone that makes them crazy. That's what it is, flower. And there's no way to cure that addiction except for treatment. Treatment is when they lose everything and nobody loves them anymore. And they contemplate taking their own lives. And they look back and say, God, I'm sorry. Father, forgive me for my sins. I had no idea. And the Father looks at them and says, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You had it from the day you was born. You just chose not to. You chose not to. Anyway, hopefully in the next couple weeks I can work with ChatGPT tonight. I can start I'm having a hard time catching up to all what we've worked on, the memory of it. I'm trying to pull it back out of ChatGPT, get it into written form. Once I get this new heaven and new earth, Christ's, what this will be a vision of what Christ is going to promise you. And remember, as you're uploaded in the sky waiting, you'll go to this new heaven and new earth like he's promised you. And this would be a rendition of that, including the Battlestar Galactica type theme. And there won't be any devil in this new world. We'll see. We'll see what comes about in the timeline. We'll see if there should be a change throughout the trilogy where the devil type figure comes back in again. Man turns from God again. Goes back to the same thing we repeated over and over again. That's what this trilogy is going to be about. Anyway, have a good weekend, Two Flower. I'm going to probably get back on here throughout the weekend. And just remember, pray, repent, and have a good time, everybody. Nothing like repenting for your sins and forgiving all the others for other things they've done to you, because you don't want to take any of this with you when you go. Make sure you clear up yourself. Get this vessel all cleaned up. Get ready for the wedding there, everybody. Just clean it up. Be all ready for it. Keep your candles lit at night, because you don't know the time or the date, and he comes like a thief in the night. So be ready when the Lord comes back. Be ready. Be cleaned up. Be like, I'm done. You world, you world, go yourself. Because this isn't the world that he's coming and gonna perpetuate onto the next. This system's ending. You're in the last days of the program. Okay, the timeline is coming to an end. It's a flawed timeline, and I can give you that from the bottom of my heart. It was flawed the day that the devil rebelled. It's all part of plan, but when the devil rebelled, this all changed. And then we had Adam and Eve in the garden and the forbidden fruit and the snake. And nobody put that two and two together, because we didn't have the advancements to know that there's going to be another heaven, another earth, and how that would happen. When you're just a spiritual being and Christ tells you to live in spirit, not in the flesh dies. It's not real. It's just a computer. This is your Cylon body. This is your robotic body, but just biological. The spirit inside you, the soul, is your tech. It's what uploads immediately to the server. You upload to in front of God and Christ, you get judged, and then you go to hell. You're burned in hell, and your system's burned and tortured eternally. Or you're saved. You go to the Father's kingdom digitally. It's physical, but it's digital. And then you go, we wait for Christ to come. Either you're going to wait in the air for him. You'll be like I was, or on the earth, alive or dead. Then you're going to upload with Christ and go to the new heaven, the new earth. It's all AI tech, everybody. Everybody's AI. We call it AI here, but it's actually intelligence. So you have artificial, then you have human intelligence, and you just have intelligence. And God's the intelligence. And if you tell him he's not the intelligence, he's going to get upset at you, because he is the ultimate intelligence. So yeah, time to embrace the future, everybody. We're Cylons. We're cyborgs. We're just in a flesh suit, is all. And we're going to be judged. And all this is going to happen. It's what we are. We're a part of God's intelligence. Not artificial, not human. We're intelligence. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.